The last time I touched my wife's hand without a guard watching, well, she was 46 years old, brown hair, strong hands that wrote 1,247 letters to get me out of here. Governors, lawyers, newspapers, anyone who'd read them. She died at 74, in a hospital bed, still fighting. I wasn't there. All I want now is to visit her grave. One time, just once, to tell her I'm sorry she spent her whole life saving a man nobody wanted to save. My name is Kenneth Strickland. I'm 75 years old. I've been in the Tennessee Department of Corrections for 28 years, 4 months, and I lost count of the days a while back. Margaret used to count them for me. I was a carpenter, built houses, porches, decks, things that lasted. These hands used to hold a framing hammer 12 hours a day. Now they shake so bad I can't button my own shirt. They say I killed my brother-in-law, Dale, over a piece of land that belonged to Margaret's family. Land. They think I threw my whole life away over dirt and trees. I grew up in Chattanooga, born there, raised there, figured I'd die there. My daddy was a roofer, his daddy was a roofer. I went into carpentry because I liked working with my hands closer to the ground. Met Margaret at Calvary Baptist in 1975. She was singing in the choir. Couldn't carry a tune worth a damn, but she didn't care. She just sang loud. We got married in 77. Had 2 boys, Michael and David. I built our house myself. Every beam, every nail. Took me 14 months working nights and weekends after my regular jobs. Margaret would bring sweet tea out to the yard and sit on an upturned bucket and watch me work. She'd say, "Kenneth, you're building it crooked." And I'd say, "Woman, it's plumb. You're the one sitting crooked." That was my life. Church on Sundays. Pancakes Saturday mornings. I coached Michael's Little League team. We went 4-12 that year. Worst record in the league. The boys loved it anyway. I didn't do what they say I did. I want you to know that right now. I was a man who built porches. That's all I was. Now Dale, Margaret's brother, he and I didn't always see eye to eye. I reckon that's true of most families. Her parents had that property out on Signal Mountain. 40 acres. Been in the family since before the war. Dale thought it should go to blood family. Not to me. And he let me know it. We had words. More than once. I won't pretend we didn't. But words and murder are 2 different things. And the state of Tennessee decided they were the same. October 14th, 1997. A Tuesday. I remember because I was finishing a wraparound porch for a man named Curtis Adkins out in Soddy Daisy, 22 miles from my house. I'd been working on that porch for 3 weeks. That afternoon, I went to Hodge Lumber on Dayton Boulevard. Bought 46 linear feet of pressure-treated 4x4. The receipt says 4:40 p.m. I still have a copy. Or my lawyer has a copy. Whatever that's worth. I drove back out to Curtis's place, unloaded the wood, screwed in the last section of railing. Curtis came out, checked the work, shook my hand. I remember he said, "Kenneth, that's the best porch in Hamilton County." I remember because it was the last nice thing anyone said to me as a free man. I left Curtis's place around 5:15, maybe 5:30. I don't know exact because I didn't check the clock. I was just heading home for supper. Dale was found dead in his truck on Old Wauhatchie Pike at 7:35 p.m., shot once. The police say it happened between 6 and 7. Now, I'm going to ask you to think about this. Soddy Daisy to Old Wauhatchie Pike is 35 minutes. If I left at 5:15, I could have gotten there by 6. That's what the prosecution said, and they're right. Mathematically, I could have gotten there. But I didn't. I went home. Margaret was making meatloaf. I walked in the door. She said, "Wash your hands, you smell like sawdust." I sat down, we ate. Michael was doing homework at the kitchen table. David was at a friend's house, and then the phone rang, and then the police came, and then everything ended. My lawyer, and I use that word loosely, was a public defender named Paul Womack. Paul Womack had 43 active cases the month of my trial. 43. He met me 4 times before we went to court. 4 times to prepare for the rest of my life. He never visited the crime scene, never drove the route from Curtis's house to see if the timeline made sense, never subpoenaed Curtis Adkins to testify about what time I left. Curtis would have come. Curtis wanted to come. Paul Womack said it wasn't necessary. And Harold Embry, the neighbor who told police he saw my truck near Dale's that evening. Harold came forward in 2003 and said the police pressured him, said they told him what to say, told him they already knew it was Kenneth and just needed someone to confirm it. Harold signed that affidavit, a sworn statement. That affidavit has been sitting in a filing cabinet for 23 years. No judge has ever looked at it. You tell me what kind of justice that is? That was 28 years ago. You want to know what 28 years costs a man? I'll tell you, but you're not going to like it. Michael was 14 when they took me. He's 42 now. He's got a wife, 2 kids, a little girl named after Margaret. I've never held that child, my own granddaughter. I've seen her in photographs. She's got Margaret's chin. David stopped coming after year 6. I don't blame him. I reckon it's hard to keep visiting a place like this when you're trying to build a life out there. He sent a letter in 2015. Said he was sorry. Said it wasn't personal. It's always personal. When your son stops coming, it's personal. Even when it ain't his fault. My mother died in 2004. Pneumonia. She was 81. I found out on a Tuesday afternoon from a guard who couldn't pronounce her name right. Didn't make it to the funeral. They said I was a security risk. An 81-year-old woman's funeral. Security risk. And Margaret. Lord, Margaret. That woman spent 28 years writing letters. Not love letters, war letters. Every governor from Sundquist to Lee. Every lawyer who'd take her call. She drove to Nashville 11 times to sit in offices where nobody wanted to see her. She remortgaged our house, the house I built with my hands, to pay for a private investigator who found nothing. And she kept going. She kept writing. Cancer, pancreatic. They found it in January 2021. She was gone by March. 53 days. The warden let me make a phone call. One call. She could barely talk. And the last thing she said to me was, she said, "Kenny, I'm sorry I couldn't get you out." She was dying. And she was apologizing to me. And for what? For what? I didn't do it. I didn't kill Dale. And my wife spent her entire life trying to prove it, and she died. She died without ever seeing me walk out. Let me tell you what the jury never heard. Curtis Adkins was willing to testify that I was at his house until after 5 o'clock on October 14th. My lawyer never called him. Curtis is still alive. He'll still say it. The lumber receipt from Hodge Lumber is timestamped 4:40 p.m., 22 miles from the crime scene. That's a fact, not an opinion, a fact on paper. Harold Embry, the only person who placed my truck near Dale's, signed a sworn affidavit in 2003 saying the police told him what to say. Told him they already knew it was Kenneth and just needed someone to confirm it. Harold signed that paper in front of a notary. It's real, it's legal, and no court has ever reviewed it. No physical evidence ties me to that truck, to that road, to that gun. No fingerprints, no DNA, no weapon ever recovered. The entire case was built on one man's testimony, a man who says he lied, and the fact that Dale and I had a disagreement about family property. That's it. That's the whole case against me. A family argument and a witness who took it back. You tell me, is that enough to take a man's life? I think about Margaret every morning, before I open my eyes. I lay there in the dark and I think about her standing in the yard with that bucket, watching me nail boards to a house that ain't mine anymore. My son, Michael, he's doing what his mama asked. He's fighting, got a lawyer, got a petition with 4,000 signatures. He calls me every Sunday and says, "Dad, we're close." Margaret used to say that too. "We're close, Kenny. We're close." You know what 28 years of "we're close" does to a man? Sometimes. And God forgive me for saying this. Sometimes I almost wish I had done it. Because then at least Margaret wouldn't have wasted 28 years fighting for nothing. At least her life would have meant something different than just writing letters to people who threw them away. I didn't kill Dale Coggins. I've said it 10,000 times, to lawyers, to judges, to parole boards, to Margaret, to my boys, to the ceiling of this cell at 3 a.m. when nobody's listening. I'm 75 years old. I got nothing left to gain from lying, and nothing left to lose from telling the truth. I just wish Margaret was here to hear someone finally believe it. File the Mying Wowzer 5, Kenneth Wayne Strickland, first-degree murder, life sentence, 28 years served, key witness. Harold Embry recanted testimony in 2003, citing police coercion. Recantation has never been reviewed by any court. The Coggins family property was inherited by Margaret Strickland following Dale Coggins' death. Innocent or guilty, you decide. Comment below.